Hello, everyone. Welcome back. The Honolulu Blue Breakdown. We are here to, I guess, put a bow on the 2025 season. Our last episode here before we move into off-season content, previewing 2026. So today we're going to talk about the defense and the special teams, give our grades, and kind of talk everything, wrapping up the defensive side of the ball. So, of course, the four of us are back. I'm Troy. We got Jordan, Zach, and Matt. How you guys doing? Super Bowl's over. We ready to move on? Everyone's 0-0 now. That's kind of exciting.
Yeah. Can't believe it's a new season already. Excited for free agency, combine, all that good stuff. It'll be coming up quick. It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, congrats to Sam Darnold and the Seahawks for winning Super Bowl 60. That was a pretty dominant win there.
What a great night. I mean, I was eating my buffalo chicken dip, just watching the Seahawks dominate, and I couldn't have been happier.
I could have used a touchdown or two in the first half. Would have been nice, but
it wasn't exciting. But
no. I mean, it was. I was hoping for a little bit of fireworks, but at the end of the day, I think that's kind of what everyone. I don't know if that's what we expected, but that's kind of with the defense on both sides, it was kind of played out.
I mean that I give props to that New England D line. I didn't think they were going to get as much pressure as they did. It was going back and forth. The pressure on the defense and just some of the creativity to get to the quarterback in that first half. That was fun for me. But even though obviously I was like hoping for JSN popping off or something like that, or a Kayshawn Booty, like that's just the one. That's got to be one of the best names to say as an announcer. Like that's goofy.
Bobo or something like that.
Yeah, Bobo's good.
Well, and they said it on the broadcast. The formula was get pressure with 4, and as we talk about the defense, I think that's something to keep in mind. If our defense can pop off with our offense going crazy too, I mean, we got a good shot next year. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, maybe we're too far away from the season where I've kind of forgotten about it a little bit, but I was watching the game just thinking like we're not that these teams are not like head and shoulders above us. The Lions are like just kind of watching that game. You just kind of got to get hot at the right time, avoid the wrong injuries, and you're there.
Just get into the dance. That's step number 1,
Yep. Yeah. Patriots had that 4th place schedule. We'll have the 4th place schedule. Maybe that'll help us out a little bit. Of course, they looked vastly underprepared because of it, but
that they did.
All right. So before we start our grades, we'll introduce you guys to a new segment we're going to have as we work through the off season. We're going to call it the North Watch. And basically, we're going to kind of keep tabs on our division rivals. So we got our little Vikings there, little Bear Cubs, and then our roll of cheese. And each of us is going to kind of follow one of the teams here. So we'll just be talking about different acquisitions they make, where their players go, what new coaches they have. So from the Lions perspective, obviously our last pod, we talked about Drew Petzig. There's been a few other changes. They've got a tight ends coach. They got Mike Kafka. Skipper is going to be an assistant coach. So we'll get into that more in upcoming episodes, but each of us is going to have a team. So I guess Jordan, if you want to kind of preview who you're going to talk about.
Yeah. So I somehow drew the Packers. So I don't know if I'm going to be a fan from a distance. It seems very unlikely, as I might be the one out of us 4 that probably dislikes the Packers the most, maybe. I don't know. That's hard to say. But yeah, I'm going to be kind of following them. They just got Jonathan Gannon as their defensive coordinator. So I'll talk about that in a future episode a little bit more. Interesting. I would like to know from any Packers fans out there, if you're listening, kind of what you're feeling. You got some like queso, pepper jack, that fire in your gut, I think is kind of where he was going at Arizona. So, but not always translating defensive coordinator role, head coach. It's interesting, right? Like obviously it didn't work out in Arizona, but that doesn't mean that he won't be a good defense coordinator. Green Bay's defense, semi-talented. You want me to speak to it right now, or was I just supposed to intro who I'm looking?
No, that was perfect.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess, Zach, who you got?
So I'm gonna be covering the Bears. It's kind of fitting that we're doing the teams that we kind of don't care for as much. I spent 4 years in the Chicagoland area, so I'm very familiar with the Bears. They are coming off their best season in like a decade, maybe more than that. And they're kind of feeling themselves a little bit. Ben Johnson really showing up and turning them around, which kind of hurts our souls a little bit. But we'll have to see how he progresses, especially with all the stuff they've got going on. And now they're going to have a first place schedule, so we'll see how that looks for them next year.
Yeah. And then finally, Matt.
Yeah, I'll be heading up the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, I mean, just nothing too crazy. I think obviously the biggest thing is, they got rid of their GM kind of late in the game in terms of when all the firings were happening. So that was kind of an interesting move. And to kind of go along with that too, I think the talk of the town, especially the last 3 or 4 days has been they got rid of Sam Darnold, who won them 14 games. And now he's a Super Bowl champion. Whereas, I think that whole town, the whole, Minnesota, culture, I think they're thinking, hey, that could have been us if we kept him. So I think, it's a weird vibe in the clubhouse, probably. With JJ McCarthy, I still think he's got a somewhat of a high ceiling. We'll see how consistent he is next year, but that's going to be a big prove it thing. I'm sure they'll try to, get a veteran QB out there to compete with him. So we'll get into that a little bit, in future episodes. But yeah, and then Brian Flores is back as defensive coordinator. So, I think they've got an excellent coaching staff, and I think they again have probably a somewhat of a high ceiling next year, depending on what kind of moves they make this offseason in free agency. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Nice. All right, let's go right into the grades here. So we got the defensive side of the ball here. We can start out with the coaching staff. Obviously, Kelvin Shepard, first year DC. We see some stats there, how they were on offense, defense. Just before we start, each slide, you'll see some stats. The lower number is better. So regardless of what the stat is, obviously, if there's a 1, it means you're the best in the NFL. So just to kind of level set you on knowing which way the stats go. But yeah, Jordan, you want to kick us off here?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't know how much really falls on Dan Campbell. Obviously it does. My brain, though, immediately goes to BH, Brad Holmes. I feel like we were underprepared defensively again with the injuries that hit, mainly, and people were, just banging on the table for that extra edge rusher, right? And I think we could have used that this year. But then the corner room, obviously. I mean, you can't predict that Kirby and Brian Branch are going to be out by the end of the season, so can kind of give a pass on that safety. But the corner room, man, is just it's been in shambles for how long now? So not super thrilled with that. I'll lump Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes together. I'll say a D for defense. They didn't have it ready. But to go with Shepard first year, he showed glimpses, in the earlier parts of the season. I'm going to go with the C+ with that guy. I'm hopeful. I like him, just the character that he is and the human. It seems like he's a good dude. The players love him. So that's kind of where I'm looking at right now is front office didn't do their job. They got to fix this defense, man. Look at, like we were just mentioned, Super Bowl defenses showed out. Like it matters. It does.
Yeah. Zach, what are you thinking?
So this is tricky because I take Jordan's point about Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. The thing is, they were probably banking on some positive injury regression compared to last year, and it might have been worse, which, I guess it's not an excuse. The 49ers probably had worse injury luck than us this year and did better. But it's like, if Kirby doesn't get hurt, do we win 3 more games? If that's the only injury that changes, we just have Kirby the whole year, we win 3 more games. So I'll give the Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes a C, just because, I mean, they probably could have done more, but I also don't blame them for trying to, bank on the positive regression, and it just didn't happen. Kelvin Shepard's awesome. After the Bucks game, we were ready to crown him the next DC of our lifetime. We kind of regressed from that, but I mean, he was shuffling through players left and right, so I gave him a B overall. But I think, there's room for improvement.
Yeah, I kind of echo what y'all are saying. It feels like we were kind of one in Zach. I think you're kind of on with that Kirby comment of if he's back, we could have certainly been in the playoffs just with him. Obviously we had other injuries, but I feel like he was the key one, right? Like he's been, so consistent over the last 2 or 3 years, in providing turnovers and just being a solid force back there. So, that injury I feel like was just super key. So yeah, I'm, I'll fall in that C range as well. And what I would like to see is, like we talked about a little bit ago with the Super Bowl, just beef up that line. Like I think that's where, McNeil came back from injury. He wasn't the same as what he was 2 years ago, or even, before he got injured last year. And like, if you shore up the interior and, obviously maybe you throw an edge in there opposite of Aiden, I think it eases up a little bit in the secondary. But when they have multiple seconds to sit back there and, maybe they're running out of the pocket or, sitting and just dissecting the defense, it doesn't give them much of a hope if, the play's running on for 3, 4, 5 seconds. And, at that point, it's not a lot of secondaries are going to be able to cover. So, a C. Not to get into the positions, but the coaching, I'll throw the C in there.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I gave this defensive leadership group a C as well. I kind of, like you guys mentioned, I don't really blame them for the injuries. That's not something I think you can foresee happening 2 years in a row. Holmes's waiver wire pickups, I kind of looked at as kind of a 50-50. Some of them actually were kind of decent. Like some of those secondary guys like Harper and Hallett and Whiteside, they showed some promise, but the defensive line guys that we'll talk about in a little bit, they really did nothing. So, but you can't expect to hit on those guys. Also, they kind of seemed like they banked on them hitting maybe a little more than they should. So that's kind of where I fell in a C. Shep for me is right down the middle. Just like you said, Zach, early on, we thought we had a home run, greatest DC of all time type of deal. And then when the injuries started to pile up, he really started to struggle, which makes sense. But we saw last year with Aaron Glenn that when they had all those injuries, he was able to just kind of manufacture something. The defense wasn't good at the end of the year, but it seemed like they were able to at least have an identity to try and do something. Like you could kind of tell what Glenn was doing, where it was just like bring pressure and try and create chaos type of thing. And Shepard, it seemed like struggled a little bit with finding an avenue to go down when you have so many injuries. Just pick a lane, and he struggled with that, which is just lack of experience. So I am excited to see where he goes from here. As he kind of grows and kind of gets that those game reps and kind of finds his footing as a leader. So that's where I went. I went with a C as well for the defense as a whole.
Can I just say though, like as a first year DC and you lose both your starting safeties, like that's a doomsday scenario. Like, I can't put that against him because the guys that stepped in, especially in the secondary, played pretty well. It's like you're just throwing guys at it, hoping it works out. I don't really put that at his feet. I think that even Glenn would have struggled this year, maybe not as much, but I think it's a hard situation to be in.
Yeah. Especially when those safeties are maybe the two best safeties in the NFL, and you probably build your defense around that, maybe, knowing that you have those guys on your back end. So yeah, that's a good call. All right. Someone who has plenty of experience and has been our sponsor since, when the Lions were still in the playoff race. So today's episode is proudly sponsored by Phil Nykamp, realtor with Keller Williams Harbortown, serving, of course, Holland, Zealand, and all of West Michigan. And he's a lifelong Lions fan just like us. He's ready for the off season. Looking forward to next year. If buying or selling your home is one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make, and Phil believes it should also be one of the most personal. Phil helps families not just move, but move forward with confidence. Whether you're buying your first home, selling to downsize, relocating, or investing, now is a great time to have an honest, no-pressure conversation. So visit philnykamp.com or search Phil Nykamp Realtor on social media and get your home process started. All right, let's move into the defensive line. So this is the interior, guys. The next slide we'll get to the edges. But yeah, I think this is where we're going to have some low grades. We'll see. Jordan, what do you have?
Oh boy. Yeah, let me think overall. I don't know. I think I'll go B here. I'm not too upset. I mean, I think Roy Lopez played better than we thought he was going to, coming over from, I think, Arizona. Ali McNeil obviously completely underperformed, so I guess maybe I should drop that grade. But Tyleik Williams, rookie. Okay, I'll drop it. I'll go down to a C because I'm thinking like Tyleik Williams had flashes. I'm confident that he can learn and continue to be kind of that guy in the middle next to Aleem that will hopefully be better, kind of take that DJ Reader role. But from a first round, I know he's late first rounder. Give it time, but I guess you're kind of hoping for more home runs type of thing. But defensive tackle, it is what it is. I wish that stat earlier surprised me that our pass defense was better than our rush defense, because normally that's kind of what our philosophy has been, is you stop the run first. So it's a little worrisome for me that I didn't know we were in the 20s there, or was it 18 or something like that. So hopefully we can improve that, especially with, guys coming in and out during the off season.
Are these numbers, Troy, for the season?
Yeah. So tackles and assist, I split up. A lot of times you'll see tackles and it's both of them together. So an assisted tackle and a tackle, but I showed them differently. But yeah, these are season stats.
Gotcha. Okay.
Some of them look pretty rough. They were shocking.
That's why I was a little, I mean, not putting them against another team right now, but they looked a little low. So
yeah. And Levi, you'll see there, I have a free agent. He's obviously not a free agent. I don't know if we want to touch on that a little bit, but his contract was rolled over to next year. So I guess he'll be back unless they cut him. But we get Levi back.
What was his injury? What's his injury?
He tore his ACL, I believe.
Oh, that before the season even started, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's, on some different things I've listened to, it sounds like that might have happened before he signed the contract, but maybe they didn't know about it. It sounds like there's a little unknown about when that happened.
Well, speaking of injuries, let me just say, Aleem looked really bad. But he also came back within 10 months of a torn ACL, and he's over 300 pounds. The bigger you are, the longer it takes to recover. I'm not going to hold that against him. Just like, as we get further down, as we talk about other guys that had injuries, the Rodrigos of the world, Hutch even, some of those injuries, your strength is back in 10 months, but, your head for the game, your trust in your ability to change direction, the full speed stuff, sometimes that takes a lot longer. And I think that's what happened with Aleem. I'm not worried about it yet. We'll see how he looks with the full offseason. His offseason last year was just trying to gain strength, not conditioning. And I think that was pretty clear as he was piling up the snaps, a couple snaps in a row, and he was pretty gassed. And it showed in his grade. His grade was really bad, but I'm looking forward to what he looks like next year, because I think next year is the prove it year. Roy Lopez was the best graded of the group. I think he's a stud. Overall, though, I gave the room a C because I think they were about average.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more, Zach. Like, and I think it was more for me the inconsistency of this group, where it just felt like there was a handful of games down the stretch where they weren't doing anything. They held their own maybe a little bit against the run, but they weren't bull rushing. They weren't getting to the quarterback hardly at all, and you can kind of see those stats right there. So, and again, injuries are a big part of this, and maybe if they're fully healthy, it's enough to compete and kind of be a stable defensive line, but that's not the reality, and that's not the NFL right now either. So I would like to see a piece added, nothing crazy, but I like McNeil still. I totally agree with you, Zach, on that piece of it. Tyleek, I think he's got a 1 year under his belt. I think he's going to be a really solid player. I guess we'll see what we do with Roy Lopez. I know he really liked his time in Detroit. He was a good performer, but we'll see what he wants. But like I said, I'll stick with a C on this one. But I thought the consistency could have been better, and injuries certainly didn't help.
Yeah, I went with a D. I kind of looking at
defense.
Yeah, D for defense. I mean, it's a great call there, Zach, with the ACL with McNeil. I mean, you have the firsthand experience there. I guess when I was thinking about it going into the season, my assumption was, he's not a guy who needs to cut and juke guys around, so his recovery would be quicker. But you make a good point with him being a big guy. Your knees are all your power there. So it makes sense that just because he's not cutting and juking like a running back, it's going to be a longer recovery. So I'm hopeful because, he was rough. Loved Roy Lopez. I really hope they can bring him back. It kind of speaks to, you looking at these guys with who Brad brought in. Lopez was a home run, but then Lacey, Smith, those guys did nothing. Tyleek, I was kind of bummed about. I remember it was really early in the year. Maybe it was even the preseason. I think it must have been the beginning of the year, though, where it seemed like he held up to a couple like sneaks or something. And I was like, okay, this guy's going to be a stud. He's going to take over for DJ Reader, maybe be better. And then I just kind of never saw him much the rest of the year. So that was a little disappointing. I kind of expected him being a first-round pick, coming from Ohio State. He's used to big-time football. I thought he would kind of step in and be better right away, especially with McNeil struggling. That wasn't the case. Wingo didn't really do anything. I thought Reader was okay, but he's obviously going to be gone. So, for me, it was a D. Nothing really in here got me excited, and I thought it was a little below average. Lopez really was just keeping them from being an F for me.
Yeah. I'd be curious to see what Tyleek's snap count dropped once McNeil came back. Because I feel like, if he's playing the whole game, you're going to see a good play or two out of him every game. But, with limited snaps, he didn't, get a lot of opportunity. Again, I agree with your take, though, of, certainly could have been better. But, maybe it's get more snaps, get more playing time. I don't know.
Looking at the snap count, so Reader had the most snaps, 583. McNeil was actually second with 524. Then it was Reader was the most, 583. And then McNeil, and then Tyleek was third with 446, and Lopez was right behind at 425.
Yeah, I mean, to that point, Roy Lopez had a few more, I'll say, interrupting plays than Williams did down the stretch, maybe. So
yeah, for sure. Look at that 26 cap hit though for McNeil. That's
yeah, it is
for a defensive
that's almost
tackle.
29. That's not 26. That's 29.
Yeah. Is he? Could he be a cut risk?
I'm just saying, just give him the off season and let him get back into it. It's not fair that dude is that big and he tried to come back for the team.
Yeah.
That's one of their guys too.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm not worried.
There's
I
no
might be
point in
worried,
cutting
but I'm
him
not
though,
worried.
right?
Can't they just restructure that though?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just throw it all back a couple years. Screw
The
it.
salary cap's fake.
Yeah.
All right. The edge. A lot of sacks, surprisingly.
Thanks,
Maybe
yeah,
from
thanks to Hutch.
one guy. All right. Jordan.
Is that 4th in the league and 10th in the league? Is that what I'm
Yeah.
seeing? Okay.
4th best and 10th best. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that it's so crazy. I feel like most of them or a lot of them came in bunches though, because there were so many games where we just are watching the opposing quarterback just stand in the pocket or scramble and just kind of get away or find someone. It's we know as Lions fans and those listening, you kind of know what we're talking about. That these stats don't really feel like they reflect how this group performed. Especially like Muhammad, like he's gonna go get a bag somewhere. I don't even know if I'd want him back just because, I mean, kind of because he's a good story too because he's older. I think he's 30, so it's kind of later in his career towards the end. He has a career year sacks, 11 sacks. I'd be interested to see his career high before that. I would guess like 5 or 6. He probably almost doubled his career set or a career year sack total for him. So grade wise, if I have to grade the group, it's this is so hard because Hutch is just a beast, right? Like he'll get there eventually. Man, I can't. I'm gonna go another C. I've just been doing C's all night because I feel underwhelmed by what I watched every single game. Some games I watched more than once. Over again. But then these stats are also kind of like what? So yeah, I'm going C there.
I think that's fair. I mean, when we talk about Hutch, I talked about the injury thing. You need to give him whatever, give him the time. The fact that Hutch came back 8 months off of a broken leg, had 14 and a half sacks, 4th rated on PFF, and had the most pressures in the league is kind of insane. Like, I'm going to be wagering for him to have 20 sacks next year. I think he's just going to crush it because the fact that he did that this year it blows my mind. The Muhammad thing is interesting, Jordan. You brought it up. So he had a career high 11 sacks. If you took away his 3 best games of the year, he had 3.5 sacks in 14 games. So if you take away the Baltimore game, the Dallas game, and the second Minnesota game, he only had 3.5 sacks in the other 14. He only had 9 solo tackles based on what I counted the whole season. So that's like half a one per game. He has a career year at 30 years old. There were stories about the coaches had to light a fire under him and then he would play amazing. It's like, I think you kind of just have to let him walk and roll the dice that you can find another guy next to Hutch. And that kind of stinks. Marcus Davenport, if you're listening, I'll help you move. That's fine. I'm down. I'll help you. I can't stand watching Marcus Davenport rush the passer anymore. I can't stand seeing him limp off the field again and again. Oh, he's back to the game. Oh, he's off again. It's like I think that was probably the worst free agent signing I've ever seen. Marcus, I'm sure you're a good dude, but I can't watch it anymore. I gave the group overall a B-, and that's basically just because Hutch is a stud.
Yeah, man. I love it, Zach. Couldn't be more spot on. Yeah, another C, Jordan. I'm right there with you. And like you look at everything except for Hutch, essentially nothing, right? Like, yeah, obviously Muhammad had a few explosive games. I just didn't see enough of well, and I guess the other thing I'll say about Hutch too is like the amount of snaps that he had. I don't know if if he had to play or if that's just who he is, probably a little bit of both. But I think, I don't know the percentage, but it's super high compared to a lot of the other big edge rushers in the league. Whereas maybe that snap count comes down maybe 20 or 30% even, and maybe we get a few more sacks, just giving him a little bit more energy, especially down the stretch. I don't know what that looks like from an analytical standpoint, but that's kind of what you see with other edge rushers. But yeah, I mean, I would agree also, Zach. Like I think Aiden's gonna have a huge year. I would love to see him win Defensive Player of the Year next year. But we need some help here. Like, look at that list. We have to make some sort of signing. Like, I think we all know that, and we'll see what happens. Like, do I have confidence that we're going to make a big splash? Probably not. Are we going to add a few fringe players that, we'll see what happens? Likely. So I don't know. Yeah. See though.
Yeah, I'll start with Hutch there. I gave him an A-, and I kind of feel bad about giving him the minus. I guess I just did it because he did start a little slow, but obviously coming off the injury. You mentioned the snap count, Matt. So this was something that became really apparent to me when I was watching, the Packer games with Micah Parsons or even Myles Garrett, and you see them come on and off the field, fairly regularly. Do you guys have a guess at what percentage of snaps Hutch played for the,
I think it's
for the season?
Is it 90?
It's in the
for the
80s, I would guess.
for the season.
I wouldn't say 90s. It's not in the 90s, is it?
It's 90.9% of the snaps.
Wow.
I thought it was around 90, yeah.
Which is crazy for a defensive lineman. So that's why I feel bad about giving him the minus. Maybe I'll take that away and give him an A. I mean, just an Iron Man.
You guys remember the video? It's like, how is he running with a broken leg?
Yeah.
Yeah, really, I agree with you, Zach, with what you said about Muhammad. He didn't even play that many snaps. He played 41% of their snaps. So it's not like he was out there much. He really was only a pass rusher. Like they had to take him off the field against the run. I think that's why they like the idea of Davenport, is him being kind of that big body. You could leave him on the field at all times. Obviously that didn't work out, but he's probably the archetype of player they're looking for opposite Hutchinson, just a guy who can hold the line and be out there consistently, where Muhammad really wasn't. Good story, but he's going to get paid way more than I would ever feel comfortable paying him, I guess, especially for his age and kind of a one-year thing. Everyone else was pretty much a nothing. I mean, I was bummed we didn't get to see Hassanin. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, he was kind of the talk of training camp. I know he got hurt, but then when we brought him back, I assumed he was healthy. And like, at some point we needed bodies. Yeah, throw him in.
Maybe they're just saying for his development that, they're just like, now, take another off season and get bigger and stronger. And
yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
I don't know. At least to get a feel for the speed and the power of the O lineman. But
yeah, what's it gonna hurt? Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe in practice
too. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say maybe in practice he was going up against Panay and just getting pancaked every play or something. I don't know.
Could be.
Yeah.
This might be a long episode because I'm not ready to move on though, because I want to dissect this a little bit. AQ. Listen, Muhammad, Zach, your point. He had 3 games with like multiple, probably 2 or 3 sacks.
Yeah, he had like 8.5 in 3 games.
That's the Hutch effect. The 3 games where there probably was like 2 weak tackles or probably like a third string tackle, and he was exposing them as Hutch was getting chipped by a tight end and then double teamed. You bring in someone who's, sorry if you're listening, Muhammad, someone who's actually good, or like draft a first round edge rusher. Go get Trey Hendrickson, trade for Jalen Phillips when I was calling for it last year, and then you're going to get consistent every single game edge pressure on both sides. That's the Hutch effect. You need firepower on the other side, and I feel like people have been really calling for that, and I've been kind of like, I agree, but it's such a hot topic, and Brad really has reactions to it, and I love Brad so much. I'm not trying to be that person, but like these stats right here, it's a perfect example of that. Like, we didn't feel AQ outside of 3 games. If we had someone who could do that consistently, almost every single game, we would have made the playoffs easily. Like that has to be the difference. It could have been. That's one of the difference makers right there.
Well, and you look at it like Hutch led the league in pressures, but as a composite team, we were 10th. That's all Hutch, basically, you know?
Yeah.
And it felt like that when you watch the game. It's like the dudes just stand there unless it's Max Brosmer and we're just sacking them every play.
Yeah. I'd also be curious, like, on all of his snaps, like how many times he gets double teams, like, you know, percentage of his snaps. Like, you think it's half? Like,
Probably.
I don't know.
Some games it
And
was,
then
I think so.
Like, I just if and when it's half, like, and someone else isn't getting, you know, another 10 sacks on the other side, it's crazy. I don't know. We should be performing a lot better if he's getting double all the time.
Well, we got Pascal back next year. Same situation as Aronzarike, so maybe he'll be our big free agent signing.
But that's one cool thing about this graphic right here is like it's going to be a new room.
Yeah, and
outside of Pascal and Hassanine. So
linebackers,
A-. I love this group, man. And like it's that grade is a little too high, but like obviously Jack Campbell, superstar, awesome. Love to see that. But like I like Rodriguez. I hope he comes back. Anzalone, find a way. Just give him 2 more years here in Detroit. Maybe he retires. I don't know. You know, his future plans. Like take care of the guy at a reasonable cost, right? Like Alex, work with us a little bit. I would love to have you back. And I like Derek Barnes. Even Trevor Nowacek. Yeah, I don't know how to say it. Anytime he's in, I feel like he makes a lot of plays, actually, for sure, too. Grant Stewart is really funny to watch on special teams with his hair. But for me, basically, I love this group. I do think that in the NFL, you're seeing kind of different linebacker groups where you're getting more athletic linebackers, I guess you would say. These guys are a little more traditional, and I think we run 3 backs quite a bit too. So just interesting kind of like this group. So it'll be interesting to see draft, free agency. Are we sticking with these types of guys, or like are we going to go get like I love watching Edgerrin Cooper as much as I hate the Packers. Like that dude's a freak too of a linebacker for the Packers. So all right, I'll move on. Sorry. A-.
Well, you said that was too high. I gave the group an A. Jack became exactly what we wanted him to be. Probably the best linebacker play we've seen in our fandom as a Lions fan. Yeah, he's great. Derek Barnes, I mean, he is amazing at spying the quarterback. You remember the Lamar Jackson game. I mean, we kind of won that because he was able to contain and step up at the perfect time. So I love Derek Barnes.
Hang on. Pause.
What?
Yes, I love Derek Barnes, but he was almost the highlight of the year when Jameis Winston lost him.
Oh, yeah.
But his defense, he that wasn't his assignment. He saw him leak out and he went and tried to cover him. But sorry, Zach, that was rude.
Fair enough. I still like him though, because I mean we don't win the Baltimore game without him, probably. Anzalone, I was kind of out on, but now that we had this season and he was kind of an Iron Man for us, I'm kind of down to take him back for another year or two. I know the contract thing kind of messes it up, but good group of linebackers. I gave it an A.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. A plus, whatever you want to do. I mean, Jack Campbell, he's gonna, get his pay this offseason. He'll get a bag from us. I'll honestly be surprised if Anzalone's back. Not that I don't want him back, but I feel like he's gonna seek a little bit of money more than Brad's willing to dish out, especially when we've got Barnes already under contract and Rodrigo. I don't think we'll. I guess I don't know his contract situation. I forget where he was drafted, but I think that was his 3rd year in the league, if I remember correctly.
He's a free agent.
Wrong? Yeah, he's a free agent. So, yeah, I would. Yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, Jack Campbell, he's kind of our prime. I think we could, maybe get a younger version of Anzalone, I hope that's, not a diss towards you, but, I think there's a little bit of bad blood too after what they kind of went through contract negotiations last year. So I know he wanted to get a long-term, maybe bigger deal. So, but overall, like Like y'all have already mentioned, Jack Campbell, kind of one, I would say probably top 3 for sure, top 5 linebacker in the league, and Derek Barnes is a very solid player as well. Makes a lot of plays. And yeah, just an overall great group. And I think if we can shore up some of this injury stuff that you're seeing all in the red, and maybe add a veteran as well to the group, just to help maybe further grow Campbell, and Derek Barnes, that wouldn't be a bad thing to me. So yeah, great job, LBs.
I'm right there with you guys. I gave him an A. For me, I mean, it really doesn't matter anywhere past Campbell and Anzalone. I mean, it's crazy when you look at their snap counts. Anzalone was 91% of the snaps. Jack Campbell actually played the most percentage of snaps of anyone on the whole team, 99.3% of the snaps.
Whoa.
That's a higher percentage than Goff, who was 98. So that's just crazy.
Dang.
He was out there essentially every single play. Anzalone really, I think, is one of the guys we have to give credit to in this turnaround. Kind of came in and helped be a leader. There's rumors that, the Jets might go after him to maybe help Aaron Glenn try to turn that ship around.
How old is he? Do we know?
Big ship.
Anzalone is...
I'm saying 31.
Low 30s, yeah.
Oh, it doesn't say. Oh, 31. Yeah, he just finished his 31 season. Everyone else really didn't matter. I thought we'd see Stewart more, but I guess when you consider Anzalone and Campbell playing all the time, he was just a special teams guy. I thought he was great. I think he'd be good to have back. Barnes, to me, I forgot about the Baltimore game, Zach. That was a good shout there with him. To me, I didn't notice him as much as I expected, but I guess, it's a little more rare when you have, they don't play 3 linebackers that often. Everyone else was just kind of filler. So yeah, I say an A. Sean Dion Hamilton gets an A as well. I mean, really, helping Jack Campbell grow and turn into what he's turned into is really exciting. You'll notice Anzalone there obviously is a free agent. He does have a cap hold for next year, so that's must be some salary cap shenanigans where they've pushed some money back from previous years. So he is on the books next year, but obviously not signed. So yeah, A for me. Oh boy, this was gonna be spicy. Cornerbacks.
Oh man.
I'm going F here. You fail. I'm sorry. I can't do it. It was horrible. It was awful. It was gross to watch. Even when our starters were healthy, it was still just like, oh, here we go again. Like, I wish I had Carlton Davis back, and then I'm watching the dude in the Super Bowl, I'm not gonna spend too long. I wish I could have seen Rakestraw be healthy at all in his tenure here. Hopefully he can come back. Terrion Arnold, I think he can take steps. I'm still hopeful he'll be good. I guess we got DJ Reed for another year. Cool. Hopefully he can heal up. Amik, I loved the signing, and I loved him 2 years ago. Last year, or this past season, I'm kind of over it. Rock-Ya-Sin, bring him back. Maddox, I liked Maddox. Whiteside, I don't, other than he made some crazy plays one game when it was the Legion of Whom the first time. I don't know. Something's got to happen. We got to do something here. That's all I got to say. F might be a little harsh, D- if you want to be nice because of the injuries and whatnot, but it was just.
I mean, I look at this list and the bottom half, when they got called on, they kind of did awesome. Like Whiteside was great. Maddox was great. Rock-Ya-Sin, I mean, he got screwed on that penalty against the Eagles, but like, I don't know. I thought those guys that went from not playing snaps to all of a sudden, hey, you're in every snap. I thought they did solid. I think the starters falling down kind of were the problem. I mean, DJ Reed was playing well until he had the hamstring injury. Once he came back, he was never the same. And we know that hamstrings can kind of linger and kind of take off your intensity and your high speed velocity. Tyrion Arnold never really figured it out. It seems like he's kind of playing to not give up the big play as opposed to get the pass breakup. Rakestraw, we haven't seen it all. Amik scored really terribly. He was 108th out of 112 on PFF. I do wonder if some of that is, hey, your safeties aren't back there. You're trying to play different, but it wasn't good overall. I'll give it a C just because the Legion of Whom guys really did step in and play pretty well. And I think some of those guys, if they choose to re-sign them, can give us some depth in the future.
Yeah, all good stuff. I'm gonna go D. It just felt like whenever the ball was in the air, I just never felt confident, truthfully. And it was just more of a feeling, more than anything. Like, yeah, like I don't know what it is really. Like, and especially like the long third downs. I would love to know how many 3rd and 15s, how many, any 3rd and 10 plus, like how many we gave up last year. It was nuts. So this is where I would also like to see another signing, free agency, preferably versus the draft, just because I feel like it's so hard to hit on a corner in the draft. I feel like it's just such a different speed. And, even if it's not a top 5 corner, let's just get someone solid who's proven and, who's proven that they can stay healthy as well. I feel like between Terrion and Rakestraw, I don't think we've seen a snap from Rakestraw over the last 2 years. Just bad luck. So, yeah, Terrion, we'll see what he does next year in his 3rd year. But yeah, I would agree, Zach. Like I would say the depth is not bad. Like, but it's maybe they just made more plays just because they were in so much. I don't know, but yeah, give it a D. We got to upgrade, no doubt about it.
Matt, to your point though, it's like you said, every 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12, the ball's in the air and you're not confident. I think part of that is because the dude was standing there for 5 seconds trying to pick out where he wanted to throw it. I mean,
that too, yeah.
Yeah, the lack of pressure kind of builds upon that where we don't feel good in the air because the guy is just dissecting us for however many seconds.
Yeah. Nope, you're not wrong.
So I went with a D+. Amik had the most snaps out of this group. Rakusin had the 2nd most. If you would have asked me maybe week 4 or 5, Amik might have been my favorite player on the whole team. Like when he's playing in the slot and he's doing his thing in there, like he's awesome. And then when it seemed like injuries popped up and he had to go to the outside, it just became a disaster factory. I don't know if that's why or what happened. You guys mentioned the DJ Reed fall apart. He looked good early too. And then he had the injury and he was never the same. I'm worried about Terrion. I don't want to say Okuda, but he's just can't quite get it done. Rakestraw, I think, is cooked, if we're being honest. It's hard to miss 2 straight years and come back, but we'll hope. I mean, we were there. We saw him get drafted, so he has a special place in our hearts. We stood in one spot for 5 straight hours to see that. So hopefully he gets it, gets it figured out. Yeah, I will say though, this is where we ripped on Holmes for the defensive line, but this is where he did a really good job, is finding these random guys. I mean, you guys mentioned Whiteside, Maddox. Maddox had to end up playing safety. He's on this cornerback slide, but he kind of had to play everywhere. Mollett, these guys really were randos that filled in really well. So I'll give Holmes credit there. We were able to kind of scrap a group together, but yeah, the guys you were hoping to, didn't really finish that well. So gave him a D+ just because of the start and Rock and Maddox, but everyone else not great. Safeties. This one's gonna be hard to grade.
Daniel.
Oh yeah, Dan Jackson. I forgot about him.
Okay, that's the rookie. I know. I was interested with that pick. Like he, he's maybe a little bit smaller, but he was a thumper. Thought he would maybe play well or like learn nicely behind Kirby and Brian Branch with that type of attitude. I think he was from Georgia.
Yeah.
Man, safeties. I don't like. I might go incomplete here because I think our best safety was probably Maddox. And we talked about it, and it was like he was making plays, he was holding down the fort, but it just took the one missed assignment where they score a touchdown, and then that was most likely the difference in the game. And it's not always just that one play, but just for example, like that's not happening with Kirby or Branch back there. So it's like, or I don't know, name any other maybe veteran or something they could have brought in. So, I'm going incomplete. I'm taking a cop out here.
Do we want to have a Kirby conversation? I know it's depressing. It's giving me like Brandon Roy vibes. It's really
Yeah.
scary. The way they talk about his knee is like some ominous ghost that haunts the room. I don't like it. Hopefully he can come back, and like we've already said, if Kirby is healthy the whole season, our season probably looks completely different. All those secondary guys have to play different when the safeties are different. PFF did like Harper a lot. He was graded 12th out of 91 for safeties.
Harper was all right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he was actually our highest graded safety. It's kind of crazy.
Where was Maddox in there? Just curious.
He was 7th out of 91.
Maddox was?
Yeah,
he was top 10.
But that's not his normal
smokes.
position. So it was a composite for cornerback and safety. Right.
Got it.
But he played well. I gave the group a C, kind of in the middle. Again, if the injuries don't happen, who knows what it looks like.
Yeah, I'm actually with you, Jordan. I like a DNF, maybe did not finish. You look at Kirby right there. How many games did he play? 6, maybe?
He did play 316 snaps. So whatever that means.
Anywho, so yeah, maybe that's
about 6, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, 6 or 7 games. I don't know. But yeah, you look there, 3 interceptions. I feel like you can rely on a guy like him for, I don't know, like 7, 8, 9 interceptions a year. And we talked about it earlier, like one pick a game is a complete game changer. So we probably win a couple more games, if both Kirby and Brian are healthy. I love Brian Branch as a player. Like, I feel like he gets so much crap from the league and from the media. Like, I don't know, like we've gotten, I don't want to say the whole we've gotten too soft kind of thing, but like these are guys, putting their bodies on the line, and it's such an emotional game. Like unless he's going out there punching someone every single game, I don't know. And again, like taunting and stuff like that, that's not the big issue, but like, I don't know. Why can't we taunt in this league? Anywho, I'm getting off track. So, yeah, not a great overall performance. But yeah, I will say I didn't realize both, was it Harper and Maddox were that high from, I guess, just a secondary, ranking, which is kind of cool to see. Maybe, yeah, I don't know if that's coaching or if they're just freaking athletes, but yeah.
I saw a funny picture. You're talking about Brian Branch. It was like Jalen Duran pushing the dude's face away from the other night, a couple nights ago, and the Wings brawling with another team. And then it was Brian Branch and Juju on the ground, just like, and Brian Branch is over him like this. It was like Detroit sports, MF, like just. I did like that graphic. That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to revise my grade after listening to you guys. Originally, I gave him an F, and that's probably not fair because of injuries put him in a tough situation. But, Zach, you mentioned Harper, and then Maddox probably should have half fell into the safeties, and he did okay. So I'll bump it up to a C just because I think they may do. And when you lose the 2 best safeties in the NFL, I don't know really how much better you can do. I agree with you, Zach. I'm really worried about Kirby. Knees don't just get better. It's kind of like a back. If you have a bad back or bad knees, it's, hard to fix. I wanted to ask you guys about Branch a little bit because when he first came in, he kind of played in more of the Amik role where he was in the slot. They moved him around everywhere. And now moving back to safety, I don't know. I like him more in that kind of hybrid space player position where he can kind of be that Swiss Army knife rather than being a safety. I felt he was better kind of closer to the line of scrimmage in that role. Next year,
Yeah,
I don't
I
know
mean,
what they're. Yep.
Yeah, it is. It was always fun to see him blitz, once
Mhm.
or twice a game, just like, and he's just so fast. He's an athlete, and yeah, it would be nice to kind of put him there if we can solidify, another safety potentially, and we'll see obviously what Kirby is, but yeah, that's a good point.
Coming off the Achilles, I don't know how much he's going to play this year. I'm deeply worried that he's going to try to rush back, especially if Kirby's status is kind of up in the air. He'll feel like he needs to, step up for the team. But playing safety is going to be slightly easier on the rehab process than playing in the slot is. There's just way more change of direction in the slot. I love watching him play. I hope he gets back to 100%, but I don't think that his 100% will be this coming season.
Yeah. What did they say for Achilles? Isn't it usually like
It's like
8,
almost a
6?
full year. Yeah,
Yeah.
8 to 12 months
Easily.
probably. 6 is like the fastest, but I don't know if that's Wolverine type blood or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of worried I think we're going to have to get 2 safeties, maybe one free agent and one in the draft. And then if
Yeah.
Kirby or Branch, whatever they can do is kind of bonus. I don't know. It's kind of scary.
What
I
was
do
Dan
wonder-
Jackson's injury?
Yeah.
I forgot.
I don't know. He got injured like right away, like the first day of training
Yeah.
camp, it felt like.
I kind
Maybe
of
that's
wonder
bad
if
on-
Harper can slot in day one since he knows he'll be a starter, because
Yeah.
he didn't go into training camp thinking he was going to be a starter, but this year it kind of looks like he'll have to be. So
Yeah.
If
Maybe
Caleb
true.
Downs falls to like 10,
Yeah. That's
There's
what
no
would
way.
you give
That's
up
who I
to
want.
get him?
Go get him,
You never
Brad.
know. You never know.
He does love to trade up.
He
Also,
does.
is Kirby's cap, that can't be right. His cap hit for this year?
Yeah. I mean, they do funny things with because like Hutch is only
All
like 10
back
million.
loaded. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably all starting in 2 years or something like that.
Yeah. But he signed it as extension 2 years ago. Yeah. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
doubting you, but it's just interesting.
Yeah. I don't know what to do with these guys, but I guess I'll upgrade it to, like I said, a C, maybe a C minus. I don't know. Incomplete. I like that. Special teams. Here we go. We got some hot takes for Hogan Hatton.
Yeah, no, I always make the joke like if you're into football, just have your kid become a long snapper. Like that's got to be the best position. Getting paid like it's important, right? Like, and it's so niche. Tom Kennedy, love it. He had that. What was it? Was it the Giants game? He was popping off. Like that was like
Somewhere
a
around there.
huge. He kept flipping fields for us in that comeback there. Sailors, we have that joke with Sailors. Troy coined the like, oh, he hits 29 every time, and he did, bro. That was hilarious. I love Leaf. Is Khalifa free agent?
Yes.
Yeah, he better come back. And Jake Bates, he's coming back. Like you want to risk, that kicker market or rookie? No, he's good enough. Bring him back.
Yeah.
I like him. Thanks for pointing it out, the knuckleball, because I don't pay that close attention. I'm like, oh, now that's all I see.
I know there's certainly been like a handful of kicks where it's just like, oh my gosh, it's going to go wide, but then it just draws back in a little bit too. I'm just like, oh my gosh, how did he do that?
I mean, I'll go B for my grade. I forgot. I think it can be better, but I like these guys.
I went A minus. The returners are good. Leaf's awesome. Jack Fox is awesome. My minus is because Jake Bates. He missed the most field goals this year that he has. I mean, in his career, he's only had 2 years, but it did feel like get a little queasy in your stomach on that 47-yarder. Like, is he going to play the slice correctly? I don't know, but he won us a game. Although his miss kind of cost us the Minnesota game, so kind of a wash. Give it an A minus.
Yeah, I would go B or B plus, A minus, somewhere in there. Well, I'll bump that up to A minus. Yeah, they're solid. I think the big thing is like from a punt return perspective, I feel like if you're not making mistakes, a handful of times during the year where you're muffing punts, like I don't remember really any of those. So for that, like, in the playoffs, we saw a couple muff punts where it really cost them a lot in the game, and it can really turn a game. And I don't remember any of them. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but between the Tom Kennedy, Sailors and Raymond, I thought like I felt pretty comfortable with them back there catching the ball. So yeah, solid stuff. And Jack Fox, I think he's one of the best in the game punting. Hopefully he can do it a little bit less next year. Yeah, A-.
Yeah. So for me, I tried to find some long snapper stats for Hogan Hatton. The only thing I could find was, I guess he was second team All Pro for Pro Football Focus. So I guess that means they thought he was the second best long snapper. I feel like there was one bad snap he had that might have led to a Jake Bates missed field goal, but I can't quite remember if that was this year, maybe last year. So he was solid. I mean, we all remember Don Muehlbach, and I remember when he retired, it was kind of some worry about like who their long snapper is going to be. And yeah, Hatton's been good. So
was it just your worry, Troy?
Huh?
Was it just your worry? You're the only one in Detroit who's like, oh my gosh, who are we gonna get a long snapper?
He's like lying awake in bed, like, oh no.
He's on the coaching staff, so we're good.
Oh, we're good.
He was our long snapper for like 30 straight years. I didn't really like the returners. I gave them a C. I never really felt like there were. I mean, Khalif was dangerous, but he only returned 6 kicks. I don't know why they didn't have him back there more. He was the main punt return guy, but I felt like we could have done more on the kick returns, especially when we returned so many. I mean, yeah, they didn't really do much for me. So I gave them a C. Bates, I gave a B+. Solid. He's our long-term kicker. I don't think we have to worry about that for a while. Kickers can get interesting, but I think he's there. And Jack Fox is an A. I mean, he's a stud. He's one of the top punters in the league. So, yeah, special teams, Dave Phipp, I think get a good passing grade there. All right, there's our grades. That's the end of 2025. Now we can look forward to 2026. So I guess we will pop in when needed. Probably not every week. We'll kind of see what news happens around different big events. We'll jump in and have an episode. So keep your eye on the feed, and we'll be around. You guys got any parting thoughts?
When does free agency start? It's like the second week of March or something like that. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm not sure in the March 9.
Okay.
Or that week.
When's the draft
new
again?
league year.
Draft is like late April.
If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and comment down below what position you want us to draft in the first round in the next draft. And I'll send you'll be the first free merch giveaway as soon as we get that going. Get that baseball cap, little Ham Bones logo. Comment down below. Let's go.
Do we have any Pro Bowl takes? Did you guys watch the Pro Bowl? See how the Lions did?
I don't
know.
Didn't watch a minute of it.
So I turned it on, and they were playing flag football, and Joe Flacco was at quarterback, and I was like, oh,
what?
How is Joe Flacco in the Pro Bowl? And then he threw a touchdown pass to someone, and then Jared Goff took over for the NFC. So I was like, okay, Goff is in. He let him down for a touchdown. And then the AFC got the ball back, and Shadur Sanders was the quarterback. So I was like, I'm done. I turned it off.
That's so goofy.
What is this?
Yeah, didn't Jahmyr Gibbs get like an interception or something like that? Like he was playing corner, or
I don't know.
I thought I saw a highlight of that. That's goofy.
Yeah. I again, not that I think we should be, hitting people in the Pro Bowl, but I miss the days of, AFC, NFC, and they're wearing their helmets, from their team, and is out in Hawaii, nostalgia, I guess, but no longer.
Yeah.
Don Taylor laying out the punter. Classic Pro Bowl.
All right.
All right. See you guys.
Bye. Love you.